Welcome back. Election season is heating up, and this afternoon we're taking a closer look at a race in the 1st Congressional District that's in southern Minnesota. It is between Republican Congressman Brad Finstad and Democratic challenger Jake Johnson. Danny Spiewak has now spoken with both of them and shares this preview.
There's a lot of focus on next month's August primaries, and that's for good reason. But we're already looking ahead to a November general election matchup in the 1st Congressional District in Minnesota that's getting very interesting. The race pits U.S. Representative Brad Finstad, a Republican, against an insurgent challenger, Jake Johnson, a high school math teacher from the Rochester area who says he's running on an affordability and anti-corruption campaign. We spoke with Johnson back in May about his campaign, and this past week we got a chance to talk with Congressman Finstad. Why do you believe in the 1st District in Minnesota that you deserve a third term?
So, first of all, the seat that I have the honor to represent belongs to 750,000 people in southern Minnesota. It doesn't belong to a Republican. It doesn't belong to a Democrat. It doesn't belong to a person. It belongs to the people of southern Minnesota. I'm a 4th-generation farmer from southern Minnesota. My wife and I, Jackie, met in 2nd grade on the school bus. We are blessed to be raising 7 amazing children in the New Ulm area. It's our home. And I will continue to serve if my neighbors continue to send me to Washington. But I really believe that we have so much to offer in southern Minnesota. And come November, I really do believe that the election's about common sense versus crazy. And I hear it over and over and over again as I'm traveling across southern Minnesota. One of the themes I hear is, this isn't the Minnesota we grew up in.
Why do you believe a Democrat would be able to win this district?
Yeah, I mean, our campaign has started by listening, and we've listened throughout this entire campaign. One thing that I'm doing that I think a lot of Democrats maybe don't do or haven't done in the past is we show up everywhere. There are 21 counties in our district. We've held public meetings in all of them. We will continue to. Whereas Congressman Finstad will not host a public town hall meeting, calling his constituents pitchfork-wielding mob, we are going to host one in every county. Because it shouldn't matter if you're a Republican, independent, Democrat, apolitical, and just think the whole system's bust. You should have a chance to meet with your representative in a way that's convenient for you. We may not always agree, but we should definitely show up.
Again, this 1st Congressional District race is pretty much already set for November because there are no serious challengers on either the Republican or Democratic side. Back to you.
All 8 of Minnesota's U.S. House seats are up for re-election in the midterms, but the only open seat this cycle is the 2nd District, currently held by Congresswoman Angie Craig, as we just mentioned earlier, is now running for Senate. Well, it was a blast from the past at the Mall of America this weekend. Hundreds of fans stepped back into the 90s for a Nick at Night event. Take a look at this. Fans got to meet some of their favorite characters from the 90s and 2000s, like Hey Arnold and Cosmo and Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents. Actor and comedian Kel Mitchell from Good Burger and All That also made a special appearance. We did catch up with Kel before the event on our Sunday morning show.
Nostalgia, it's a great thing, the reboots, like you're saying.
Yes.
It's a thing, and I feel like it's like comfort food.
Yeah,
it feels good. You remember, we were talking about that earlier, like
yes.
You remember those fun times. It puts a smile on your face.
Well, if you can believe it, the Keenan and Kel show is actually celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. That show first premiered back in 1996. Lifeguards from around the state braved the heat yesterday afternoon for some competition in New Hope. Lifeguards worked with one another to save fake lives as part of the Minnesota Aquatics Network Lifeguard competition. First, they were blindfolded and then walked into different rescue scenarios. In one instance, giving first aid to someone with teeth knocked out and a bruised knee. Another involved a drowned infant who needed CPR. Judges evaluated competitors based on their performance. Lifeguards say this competition is actually a fun way to test their skills and learn new techniques.
It's not every day you're going to have to do a spinal in the water or everything. So we learn so much and have so much information stored. This is a great way to finally be able to use it and test yourself.
This year, close to 20 teams showed up to compete. Well, Sunday was officially the hottest day of the year. We did hit 99 degrees, but the heat isn't just uncomfortable, it's actually deadly. Officials are saying some extreme temperatures are leading to more fish dying. Raya Katene explains.
For some Minnesotans, there's no better place to handle a heat wave than on the waves of a lake, even on the hottest day of the year.
I just dress for the weather and go out and see if I can catch some.
Dennis Bauermeister knows the heat also affects what's inside the water.
The warmer the water, the deeper the fish get.
The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources says the heat is putting fish under significant stress and leading to spikes of fish dying. So far this year, the agency has received 212 fish mortality reports across more than 100 bodies of water. 65 of those reports coming in over the span of 4 days from July 16th through the 20th.
Lack of rain leads to lack of runoff that goes into lakes, which is always cool.
Meteorologist John Ziegler attributes the persistent heat to a lack of rainfall.
Hot weather with no rain, that's what's making the water temperatures skyrocket. The past heat wave that we just came off of, we had 10 straight days in the 90s, and that was abnormal because that was the third longest streak of 90s ever.
He says so far this year, we've seen 14 days of 90 degrees or higher, which is well below the record of 44 days.
Do I think we're going to get to the 44 days of 90? Unlikely, but I do think this year is going to come in probably in the top 10 for days in the 90s.
The DNR says Minnesota lakes are 3 to 4 degrees warmer and have lost an average of 10 to 14 days of ice cover in the past 5 decades.
I really haven't seen any fish carcasses floating around anywhere.
As the heat lingers, some are simply making the most of being on Minnesota waters.
If I catch something, I'm happy. If I don't, I was out here having fun.
Rai Katene, KARE 11 News.
The DNR does ask that you report any dead fish that you see showing up in lakes or rivers to help their team. You can make those reports right on the DNR's website. All right, stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.